I don't want to say this too loud because I don't want it to go over live, but shut down the theater and start growing weed in there, hydroponics or something. Do something that gives you less headaches and more money.
There you go. Oh my God.
It's just unfortunate, but. And it is that time, the hometown movie guys. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're having a great day out there. It is that time of the day. We're going to be talking movies with Craig and Andy. Tina, if you are listening, if you are watching, wherever you are, Tina, in this wide, wide world, we hope you're having a wonderful day.
Well, that's very sweet of you.
Yeah, hey, I believe she might be back east somewhere visiting. Yep. North Kakalaki or somewhere.
Yeah, one of those places.
One of those places. And
it's hard to tell, when you get back east because everything's so tiny. You just blink and then you're someplace where you weren't before. It's not like here.
Not like here.
You drive all day and you're still where you started.
That's so true. And Tina is also like the wind, so we just don't know where she is.
Yeah.
I speak fluent movie quotes. The T-shirt of the day. Nice.
T-shirt of the day.
Very nice. Well, we're going to be talking movies, and you said, Craig, we have a lot to talk about today, don't we?
Things kind of kicking back up again. It was
nice.
Yeah, March was I thought actually kind of a slow month. We had the studios just weren't putting out product, and you just kind of have to go with that. But now it seems like things are kicking up, and especially going into April, it's going to be a really busy month.
Nice.
Yeah, so, I had a friend of mine the other day jacked me up because there weren't any G or PG movies, and I tried to explain it to her as best I could, but they're very disappointed because there wasn't something for the smaller children.
I was disappointed also. We kind of have to go with that. There's if the studios aren't putting it out, we just can't do anything with it. And a big part of that one was Turning Red.
Yep.
Was Disney, and
I did give her an opportunity to do a 10-second hate Disney moment.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Well, they make some of their stuff. I mean, it's just spectacularly good, and it's always very, very popular. And the Jerks, this latest movie that they had, looked very intriguing, and they went directly to Disney Plus or whatever their streaming thing is.
Yeah.
Was it Disney Pixar kids movie, PG? And
was it Pixar as well? Oh Pixar, no, that's even worse.
They yanked it and put it directly to Disney Plus. So those things happen. We can't. Like I said, I'd love to have. We want to have a mix of films at all times. That's just good for good for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes disappointing, and we've actually had times. It's maybe only been a few weeks over many years, but where we've had all R-rated films. And again, that doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does happen. Yeah, it's just kind of the way the film comes down.
So, unfortunately, the movie theaters are at the mercy.
Yeah, Craig doesn't make the movies, Craig shows the movies.
Yes.
And in fact, today we do have a kids movie coming back in today.
Nice.
It is an older film. It's Sing 2. And what Universal did with this was they're re-releasing it as the sing-along version. So you actually got the words, as they're singing the songs, the words are up on the screen, so you can bring in the little ones and they can sing along with the movie.
I think you should review that one, Andy. And let us know next Friday how that went.
I think it'd be fun, and it's a good exercise in learning how to read too.
There you go. It is, and that one I could imagine though all the parents in there, everyone's singing along. Kind of parents with earplugs in. Wait, what did you say? Wait, what was that? But that's a great concept. That's pretty cool because how interactive that is. Interaction.
Well, and the reason Universal did this, there's not another kids movie coming out until April 8th.
Wow.
So we haven't had a kids movie for I think 3 weeks now. So this Universal, Sing 2 kind of re-release is something to kind of fill that niche.
Well, that was kind of nimble-footed of them, wasn't it?
Sure. Well, the studios will react to these things. They're usually pretty good about that. And they, they're not blind to these things. They look at these different slots and they try to try to fill product in there that's going to fit, and the same thing with them. They know if there's no kids movies out there.
Yeah.
You know that's an empty niche that needs to be filled.
Mm-hmm. So,
And this is as Craig said, it's a re-release, so it's been through the cycle already. Very successful movie.
mm-hmm.
377 million at the box office, which is that ain't hay, folks.
Yeah, yeah,
And here it is. They're going to go back and do it again.
yeah.
But one of the intriguing things about this particular movie, for me, is the cast.
Mm-hmm.
It's an animated movie,
Mhm.
so you can put anybody in there, right? Who cares? I mean, really. And it's a kids movie again. So I mean, are kids going to recognize the voices of famous people?
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But Matthew McConaughey is the lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know he could sing.
Mm.
And I mean, who's more famous than him? I don't know. He's pretty darn famous. Reese Witherspoon,
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson,
Mhm.
the Black Widow herself,
Mm-hmm.
and Taron Egerton.
Hmm.
He's the guy who recently played in Rocket Man,
Oh wow.
the
Okay.
biopic of Elton John.
Elton John. Yeah. Wow.
So I mean, very, very well-known, accomplished actors, and they take time out of their lives to sing in a kids movie. I just find that fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it worked because it just made huge money, and here it is back in the theaters again.
Sing along version.
So sing-along version, which I think is very clever as well.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So we're taking Universal off of the hate list for the week.
For this week.
Yeah. This week.
Universal off.
Yeah.
Disney
it's
on.
always,
Yeah. So that is a kids movie that is in the theater. What are the show times on that?
that one is 12:30, 3:30, and 6:30.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, a
nice,
little bit
nice.
earlier times on that one so get the little ones in and out and still make their bedtimes.
There you go. And still at the theater, the Batman.
Batman.
The Batman. How was the Batman?
Batman's been doing very well. Oh, we did have a time change on that one.
Okay.
It's going to be at 1:30 and 6:30 now only.
Gotcha.
But we had it in 2 theaters.
Gotcha.
Because it was such a long film, but
Now just one theater.
now 1 theater.
1:30 and 6:30.
Yes.
3-hour movie. So that 6:30 showing, be prepared, to be there until 9:30.
Yes.
But,
Stock up on popcorn and other
Nachos.
goodies.
Nachos.
No pretzel bites still. Our pretzel bites are some kind of, I don't know, some weird
pretzel bite shortage.
production. Yeah.
It's okay. But nachos and ice
Kink in
cream.
the supply chain.
Yeah.
Dibs and nachos. Yes.
Dips and nachos and the popcorn. So you can sit there and feast.
Good stuff.
And it's important when you have a movie of this length
Mm-hmm.
to be well supplied.
Oh yeah. But still a lot of people seeing Batman. A lot of people are coming.
It's tapered off.
It's tapered
Yeah,
off.
It's tapered off. Yeah. Not so much we don't really call it a pacing movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I guess, that mainstream.
Yeah.
Where people are going to come in. It wasn't like Spider-Man.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Spider-Man, we had the huge crowds. Batman was
Yeah.
not bad.
Not bad. There you go.
But, doing huge business across the galaxy though. 609 million bucks so far, and still perking right along.
Mm.
And I attribute most of it because they have Zoe Kravitz in there as Catwoman.
Catwoman. That's right. Doing catty things as Catwoman. Hey, another new movie though coming out.
Big one. Yeah.
yeah.
This one's gonna rock.
The Lost City.
Yep.
Lost City. Channing Tatum
Sandra
and
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Oh man.
Daniel Radcliffe's in there. Brad Pitt's in this one.
Oh wow.
No, this is going to be a huge film. Kind of a comedy, romance, adventure.
Yeah.
Adventure, yeah.
A little of everything mixed in there.
Oh, and
This will be a fun one.
PG-13 and showtimes 1, 4, and 7. So yeah, The Lost City. That looks really good.
Yeah,
Are
it does.
you?
It does look really good. I'll be seeing that here in a couple hours.
Gotcha. And it's-
Sandra Bullock, America's Sweetheart.
Mhm.
She's made like 50 movies. It's hard to believe, but boy oh boy, very very popular and watchable. She's a pretty lady.
Yeah.
Well, and what you're seeing too, we're coming down out of, the last 2 years, but Hollywood is starting to release these bigger films, so you're starting to see some of your bigger stars kicking out these movies again, and Hollywood returning to normal.
Hey, there
And
you go.
with Sandra Bullock, we have a pace and connection to Sandra Bullock.
Really?
Yep.
How's that now, Andy?
Well,
Do tell.
she married a guy named Jesse James. You might have seen some of his TV shows. He's a motorcycle guy, builds motorcycles,
Yeah,
West
yeah.
Coast Cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she married him.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, he was an investor in the ammo plant.
Ammo plant. That's right.
Before that ammo plant moved on to, I don't know where they moved to, but they went away.
They did. Yeah, looking at 51 movies.
Yeah.
On here, 51 movies. Wow, Miss Congeniality.
Boy, that was, and some of these movies are just really fun.
Uh-huh.
And Miss
Yeah.
Congeniality certainly is one of them.
Oh gosh, so good. Yeah, she's been in
And Speed.
Speed, yeah.
That was one of the top 10. She made that with
Keanu-
her
Keanu
top
Reeves.
10
Yeah.
grossers with Keanu Reeves. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of put her on the map, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Proposal. That was a fun one. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a fun one, and she took her clothes off. The only movie that she's taken her clothes off in. So that's another, and that was one of her top 10 grossers as well. And I have the immortal Betty White in there.
Yeah. Oh.
There was some funny stuff in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus it was the setting was Alaska, where I spent 30 years, so
Mhm.
I
You
enjoyed
enjoyed that.
aspect, even though it was actually filmed in British Columbia, which made me mad.
Good. So The Lost City, think that'll really do well here in Payson. A lot of
No,
people
definitely. No, people are really excited about this one.
come out to see this.
I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, really, we're kind of, you said it was a slow march, but now we're, looking forward all the way through July. The product is really coming out.
And let me see, looking on Rotten Tomatoes audience score, 85%. So people that have
People like it.
will see it. Yeah, 85%.
And I really put a lot of credence on the audience
Mm-hmm.
opinion of things, because the audience they actually go in and pay money to see it, and you ask them after the movie, well, did you like it? Did you get your money's worth? Did you have a good time? And they got no reason to shilly-shally. They'll tell you the truth pretty often, as Craig well knows. And I give more credence to that than I do to the critics,
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
because they see it for free, for one thing.
Yeah.
And they, in my opinion, I think most critics write to the benefit of other critics. And that's why some of their reviews are so nasty and snooty.
Yeah, or to impress other critics.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly, yes.
So here's the movie info. It's good. Reclusive author Loretta Sage writes about exotic places in her popular adventure novels that feature a handsome cover model named Craig. No, named While on tour promoting her new book with Alan, Loretta gets kidnapped by an eccentric billionaire who hopes she can lead him to an ancient city's lost treasure from her latest story. Determined to prove he can be a hero in real life and not just on the pages of her books, Alan sets off to rescue her.
And we have the story.
There we go, yes.
But I think a lot of good-humored bumbling and funny stuff is going to happen.
So I would have to imagine Daniel Radcliffe. He plays Fairfax. That's probably the eccentric billionaire.
Billionaire, yep.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good with that role.
And Channing is Channing Tatum is the
Handsome. Yeah.
the handsome but dim-witted cover model.
Cover model. Yeah. Oh wow. No. This looks really good. Looks really good. Very entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Brad Pitt is in it a little bit, and in the trailers, I guess it's okay to say something from the trailers, isn't it? Won't give it
Sure.
too much away.
Sure.
But there's a line in the movie that Channing Tatum asks Brad Pitt, "So why are you so handsome?" And Brad Pitt says, "Oh, my father was a weatherman."
Oh, well,
I just think that explains it all, doesn't it?
That explains it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be a great date movie too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you got a date and you take somewhere 7 o'clock tonight,
Yeah.
Lost City.
There you go.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Yeah, and a good feeling movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another, well, I don't know if it's a good feeling movie, but entertaining movie, Uncharted. Uncharted still in the theaters.
I don't know. I think I felt pretty good when I
It was a
left
good
the
one,
movie.
yeah, because it was so entertaining.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun, and they did some crazy stuff, and it was cool.
Yeah, so Uncharted, another
Uncharted,
PG-13.
actually, Uncharted is doing better than Batman right now.
In
At the theater.
At the,
Here in
Sawmill
Payson,
Theater.
in Payson.
Wow. How about box office wide? It
This
hasn't
is-
been bad, has it?
No, it's geez. I mean, we're really lucky here. The movies that have a record here, 4 out of 5 are solid winners,
Mm-hmm.
and we like to see that because we've went through a couple of very rough years
Mhm.
for movie theaters all across the country. A lot of them closed. Thank goodness. Thank goodness our theater didn't.
Yes.
Or I'd have been out of work.
It's a very rough couple years. Doesn't really touch on it. It was-
Doesn't really touch on it.
That's,
It was worse than that.
yeah. But no, it's good to see really good movies back.
Oh,
in the
yes,
theater.
indeed.
Well, so Uncharted, still at the theaters. And
Plenty fun to go see, and
Yeah.
plenty profitable too. $339 million.
There you go.
So good for them, and still chugging right along.
Chugging right along.
Yep.
And now you mentioned Date Night, Craig.
Yes.
Another movie that I believe would be a great movie to, for a couple to go to, Cyrano.
Cyrano, sure.
Cyrano,
Yeah.
and how that opened up last
Yeah,
weekend. How has that been doing?
Just terrible.
Just oh no. Oh,
And
no.
not just here either.
Oh really?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
been viewed by dozens of people.
Oh, it's been viewed. Yeah, literally dozens
Dozens,
have
yeah.
seen it. Just dozens.
No, it just hasn't really found a niche here.
Uh-huh.
Everyone who's seen it though liked it.
Uh-huh.
It just doesn't have that really kind of any major appeal to it. I guess it's just not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, 86%.
Really?
Yeah. So audience is
It had a lot of Academy Award buzz.
Uh-huh.
At least be nominated for Best Picture. Didn't quite get there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, we got that Sunday is Oscar night.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
There you
Academy
go.
Awards coming up if you're a movie
Mhm.
lover.
Yeah.
A couple days to see how that one goes.
Mm.
So I'll be not watching the Academy Awards
Yeah.
once again this year.
They're
Yeah. But Cyrano, 86 audience score and 85% tomato meter. So even the critics, they enjoyed it. But I think, like you said, the people that went to see it, it's just not that many people have gone to see
Yeah,
it.
I mean, all 9 of the people that went to see it apparently liked it pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. But
I think that they, when they conceptualized the movie, I think they screwed up.
mhm.
And shoot.
How's that?
Well, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to. I
Yeah,
guess
you're
I guess
right.
it doesn't
Well,
matter.
everybody
does it?
knows. I mean, yeah, it's a classic story that you said there's been 6 movies. This is
Yeah.
the 6th movie made.
Well, the wonder of the story of Cyrano, and of course this is very, very loosely based on the story of the original real guy, Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah.
And in the play, and most of what we understand about the story is from a play that came out in 1887, I think. And in the play, it has a positive conclusion. Here's the Cyrano is a deformed but brilliant poet, and he woos Roxanne and captures her love by the brilliance of his mind.
Yes.
And they live happily ever after. You know, wonderful story.
Yes.
Wonderful story. Well, in this one, Cyrano croaks, and there's no wonderful conclusion. And
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so the concept, well, you know, attractive in a certain way, you know, this unrequited love that just breaks the heart of Cyrano, and he dies. Well, he also is wounded too.
Yeah.
But we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want a big smoochy moment at the end, where they hold hands and stare off into the sunset. You know, that's what we want.
See, that's kind of a problem with doing a remake. You know, something that people do have some expectations.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And
that's
if you-
true.
And if you break away from those,
Yeah.
you know, you have to be really careful if you do break away from them without.
You don't go too far.
Yes, without putting the audience off.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, that sounds.
thinking back to Roxanne, the movie
Everybody
Roxanne.
wants Steve Martin.
Was Steve
Yeah.
Martin. Well, it was very entertaining, and it was a different twist. So it was the large honker, the large nose.
Right,
That it was his deformity, or
Right.
you know, that kept him from being attractive or
Sure.
desirable.
Or kissable. I mean,
Or
how are you going to
kissable.
work around that?
I don't know. Look at my little nose, Andy. I know.
There'd be no problem with you at all.
No problem. No. So, but in the end, it worked out. You know, he got the girl, I believe. Yeah. And so to stray that far, where okay, in this one we were dealing with somebody that's smaller in stature, and
Yeah.
okay, but in the end, he should get the girl.
Yes!
I mean,
The whole
Abs-
point, that's the whole
come
point to
on.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's the
Yeah.
whole point to it.
Yeah, so even though the movie can be entertaining, it's an enjoyable movie, you get to the end and you're like, wait a second, this isn't the story.
Yeah.
This isn't how it's supposed to end.
And I look at the craftsmanship in the movies too, and there's nothing wrong with the craft work in this. You know, that the acting is first rate, the direction is fine, the costumes are really terrific. You know, it's a period piece.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, there's some pretty funny, some pretty cool stuff in there, but
Yeah.
you know, if you're supposed to have a romantic moment at the end of the movie instead of a tragic moment, well, hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what happened here?
Yeah.
And I'm convinced, I know Greg might have an idea, but I'm convinced that that's why it's not getting the traction that you know, we think it might deserve.
Yeah. So how did it opening weekend? I mean, how bad was it, number-wise, Andy? Let's hear the numbers.
Yeah, it opened a few months ago.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
it's been out for a long time.
Yeah, because it says 2021 film, so
Yeah.
it has been out. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
it's still only got $6 million at the worldwide box office.
Worldwide,
Yeah.
$6 million.
Yeah.
Well,
People in Bangladesh are not flocking to see it.
wow.
This one might not even have had much of a worldwide release.
Yeah, it's
It's and I guess a little bit of an art film. You'd call it a bit of an art film. And traditionally, these types of movies just don't bring in the crowds.
Yeah, well,
People-
that's fair enough.
People need to see a little bit of some explosions, and it doesn't have to be over the top, but I mean, like Lost City. Lost City's not going to be.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some stuff blow up in Lost City.
Yeah, and now you're not going to have a lot of intellectual angst in Lost City. So you're gonna People are gonna run around through the jungles and tell jokes
Yeah.
and hide from bad guys. Well, that sounds like fun.
So this
Yes.
this
It
movie,
doesn't have to be complicated.
That's right.
the movie to make the movie, 30 million. 30 million was the budget. to
Yeah.
make it, and box office so far it says 6.1 million.
Yeah.
What I find sad is that the 1990 film Cyrano de Bergerac brought in 41.3 million at the box office, and it was in French.
Oh my goodness, that is a
What did they spend $30 million on with Cyrano?
costume.
The costumes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I would no.
What, Peter Dinklage, 10 million or something? Then?
Maybe,
they had to
yeah.
have paid him a lot.
Well, you saw him in Elf. I mean, how demanding he is, and he like, I want the I want the car, the Mercedes 500 SEL at 60 degrees, and give him cash. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, it turned out that he's not a big draw.
Well,
What's
there
that
was.
supposed to mean, Andy?
Well, no, I mean, like Sandra, everybody's going to
No.
go see The Lost City because Sandra Bullock's in it.
Mm-hmm.
The other one too, he kind of got snubbed on the best actor.
Yeah, I think that was a dirty trick because I thought he did a really his acting was particularly good.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie would probably, well, I'm sure it would have made more money if it would have gotten some better response at the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
As is, I think it's just up for one Academy Award,
Gotcha.
and it's not a big one.
And before we just do the exclusively on our Facebook and YouTube channel, go off the radio here, do want to mention Dog is still in the movie
I'm
theater
still
as well.
cruising along.
Yep.
Next week we've only got one film coming in.
Mhm.
Actually, next week too, we should mention Morbius.
Morbius, that's
Whoa.
right.
Yeah, that's Sony, kind of the Spider-Man Venom universe.
Yeah.
Jared Leto as kind of a anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really awesome. I think it's gonna be a
That's
good one.
Morbius, is he the one that? No, that's Venom. I get him mixed up.
Yeah, no, Morbius is a kind of a pseudo vampire type character that
Yes.
that has to drink blood through kind of a medical condition thing that's going on, and
Here it is. Biochemist Michael Morbius tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but when his experiment goes wrong or awry, he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead.
Now that would be awkward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like,
so the gist of that one is his dog is going to be here, definitely until next Thursday, but no guarantees after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a worthwhile movie, but it's billed as a comedy, and it isn't. It's a drama. And by the way, directed by Channing Tatum as well,
Yeah.
and a successful movie in box office terms.
Yeah.
So, artistically and financially and directorially, a success. So I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, two Channing Tatum movies this week, so if you're a
There we
fan, there you go.
Yep,
There
that's
it
so
is.
much fun. That happens very rarely that we have an actor that's in two movies at the Sawmill at the same time.
well, there are some very busy actors out there. Actors that, wow, they put out a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting busy again. So.
Yeah,
It's hard to believe Samuel L. Jackson isn't in any of these movies.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah, there we go.
Well,
So there it is, Lost City, The Lost City. That is a new release showing at 1, 4, and 7. So that's a good one to check out, PG-13. And also Sing 2, the sing-along, a new release for children, rated PG, and that's at 12:30, 3:30, and 6:30. So yeah, grab your nachos, your dibs, your popcorn, and enjoy a movie at Sawmill Movie Theater. Well, hey, if you want to continue to listen to us talk about movies and some other things, then you can tune in on the KRIM FM Facebook page. But right now, we'll be getting back to the music with some Toto, Eric Clapton, Lenny Kravitz, and some Whitesnake.
Lenny Kravitz is Zoe Kravitz's daddy.
That he is. But first, an update from the National Weather Service. There we go. All right, weather and surrounding areas. All right. Ooh, and that's perfect time-wise, too.
Good for us.
Yeah. So, yeah, the movies. I'm Lost City. I'm looking forward. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm becoming more impressed with Channing Tatum recently. You think of him as, just being kind of a romantic comedy sort of an actor, but he's got a little more breadth than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's doing well, and he's done he's had different roles. He said there's been some diversity there, a little bit, but seems like he's getting out a little bit more. And I think you mentioned something where sometimes, or in a lot of cases, the actors maybe don't have the ability to showcase their diversity because the roles that they're put in they kind of are looking at, oh, he would be perfect for this, so they keep them in that type of role, and they're not able to break out and show kind of what else they can do.
Yeah, and I think that's why actors like to do these little art movies. You can, if you're an actor, you can, even if you're famous, you can take a tremendous cut in pay and go work for 6 weeks and make some little movie that will just be fun for you to make, because it gives you an opportunity to really, as you say, to stretch out, to do something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever's making the little art movie, for $5 million or something, will be just tickled silly to have somebody famous in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a good thing with some of these voice acting jobs. For like an animated kids movie,
Mm-hmm.
where you've got these actors that can step in, and the big one there is Mark Hamilton, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
If you play Luke Skywalker,
Boy, what are you going to do after
you're
that?
kind of locked into Luke Skywalker. Well, what he did was voice acting for video games.
Really?
He plays the Joker. He does a real good Joker
Oh, wow.
voice. So on all these video games, it's Luke Skywalker doing the voice on these.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So he was able to kind of step into that, and we've got, in Lost City, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Yeah, how do you get away from that?
He's kind of fighting on that one. It's a struggle to get away from those roles.
Yeah, and he's got whiskers and stuff in this, so it kind of disguises his face.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but the kids movies are a good one for that. Just the voice acting. In fact, we got the Bad Guys coming up. Kind of a different reason, but
Yeah, the kids
but
movie.
that's Mel Gibson.
Really?
Is one of the voice actors in there.
Hmm.
And Mel Gibson, I don't know if he's quite to the point where he can show his face yet. So.
Oh no, he's making lots of movies, but he's not making big movies.
Yeah, you got to have he's a little bit locked into being the villain now.
Yeah, get the Gringo.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of man, one drunken trade really kind of got him.
Boy, it sure did. It sure did.
Yeah.
Well, that'll teach us. There's two good lessons in that. Stay away from booze because it's not good for you, and keep your yap shut. It's just, especially
to leave a message on just a vile rant on your ex's voicemail.
That will always get you in trouble.
Yeah.
That's not a good one.
Wow.
No, I know. That's
yeah. But
yeah, no. Hey, we've all been there, right? Right, guys? No. I've never been there.
Not that far. I might have said a few things, but
no, nothing like that.
Yikes.
Nothing like that. I know.
But still,
lucky for him, he's so enormously wealthy from the Passion of the Christ that he's pretty much bulletproof.
he's doing that sequel.
That's right. The Resurrection or something.
Yeah. And Mel Gibson has that advantage too, that he can go to directing.
Yeah.
And again keep his face off the screen.
Yes.
As long as no one recognizes
Maybe
him.
nobody will realize he's in there.
Right. But yeah, he's actually, I think, a better director than actor, and he's not a bad actor at all, but his directing is stellar.
I think his acting is getting more interesting as he ages.
Well,
His face is more craggy and interesting looking.
well, he's got that beard going now.
Yeah.
But devil-looking beard, but
Well, there's that too. But he made that movie Apocalypto.
Apocalypto. That's what I was trying to think.
Holy
Yes.
smoke, was that great! I mean, you're talking about what a good director he is.
Yes, exactly.
There's one scene right in the beginning of Apocalypto, and the language on screen is some offshoot of Mayan, a very obscure Central American language, and we're watching a family interaction between a guy, his wife, and his mother-in-law, and you really don't know what they're saying, but you can see by their body language and stuff, you can tell what's going on, and it's funny. And that is some brilliant direction. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Braveheart.
Ooh, man, was a good one.
He directed that one also.
Yeah.
Directed and starred in it.
And started it, yeah.
So no, he's yeah, he has his yeah, I don't know, that's one of those we've talked about a little bit before too. At what point do you, if someone does something horrible, at what point do you abandon their art?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson would be a great one. Do you not, like his music? I don't know. I mean, obviously, there are some issues there, but at what point do you, blackball his music over his actions?
Yeah.
We go back.
To separate the artist from the art.
Yeah. Yes.
Appreciate
yes,
the
there
art.
you go. Yes.
Appreciate the art without
exactly.
appreciating the artist.
Exactly. What Polanski, has done some, yeah, you've got these guys, yeah, that have done awful things, but do you, give up on their art?
I think you have to give up on their art until they die, and then you can resurrect it
They
again.
go back to liking it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then go back to liking it. Okay, they died. We can like it now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And also, some of my comments that were made in the past when, if you make a comment 50 years ago when it was totally acceptable, do you hold that against them now when it's not so acceptable?
How can you? That's to me is because not only were those people making those comments, but the majority of people. So if you look at somebody, whether they're a celebrity, whoever, but they have notoriety, and just because they made a comment in a period of time where the majority of people were making the same comments, you pluck them out and say they're wrong for doing it. They should have known better, but yet no one else is accountable from that time period or that time.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because they're not in
Famous.
that position.
Yeah.
They're not famous.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous.
Well, now it's really bad now because of the internet. Everything's recorded, so
It never goes away.
again, 20 years ago, someone said something. I guess we're still holding that against them. But
I think where there's an issue is if you have somebody that maybe was real outspoken, not just making a comment, but they were like campaigning for something. You have somebody that's like not just making racist comments, but is wearing like a Ku Klux Klan, outfit. They're wearing white supremacy shirts or something,
right.
and they're parading around in part of demonstrations, and then they, say, well, okay, I'm not like that. It's a little bit harder because it's not just comments. It's not just, oh, I recorded you at a party telling an off-color joke, but if you're going that far, but then again, if you denounce that and you say, hey, I was wrong, I was raised in this and that, and I got caught up in it, but phew, I've denounced that publicly, many times. Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me like a sincere apology would go a long ways, but that is not the case.
Yeah.
Sincere
Yeah.
apology is completely dismissed. The Prime Minister of Canada is photographed wearing blackface, and that's in this century.
Yeah.
And he's not held accountable for that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still the prime minister. Bill Clinton is photographed in the previous century
Yeah.
In blackface, and that's beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Except if it's Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I know we, not even intentionally, but one year for Halloween, our son John, he wanted to be, and funny you mentioned the actor, you said, oh, he's not in a film, Samuel L. Jackson, from the Avengers. What was his character?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. He wanted to be Nick Fury. Yeah, so we got an eye patch, we shaved his head, we got, him the clothing and everything, and then we painted him brown. And we, his whole head, his arms, everything, neck. And, and one of our friends was like, what are you doing?
You can't do that.
You can't do that. I'm like, he's Nick Fury. And he's like, oh my gosh, if you were down in the valley or something and you were parading around, oh my gosh, if someone saw you, that would be horrible. It's like, he's a kid. First of all, I think he was like 8 years old or so. And it's like, okay, you want to be Nick Fury? It's a costume. What's the difference between like putting on like a brown, spandex over you or something to change? But it was something that we didn't even think about.
Didn't even think about it. There's historical revisionism going on too. If you take somebody like President Andrew Jackson, and to be fair, I have to tell you that I'm a direct descendant of his aunt. So I count him as a family member. But he won the Battle of New Orleans. He was president for a couple of times, I guess. The first president that was born west of the Alleghenies. He brought, by trickery, subterfuge, and violence, he brought Florida into the American embrace. I mean, a really interesting guy, and great historical figure and an important part of the American story. On the other hand, he was also responsible for the Vale of Tears. My children are part Cherokee, so we're a little sensitive to that. I mean, that was just a horrible bloodbath, the whole Trail of Tears deal. Thousands of people died, and he was responsible for that. He utterly dismissed the Supreme Court, said, well, okay, you've passed this judgment, how are you going to enforce it, guys? Completely ignored him. And he was a slave owner. And so how do you, in this case, it isn't the artist from the art, but the good history and the bad history. It's a mixture of both in so many people.
Yeah. We were talking, that was something, I forget who was in here.
Except Abe Lincoln, who was just perfect.
Yeah. We were talking about, history and how, there are attempts and there have been cases where history, we don't want to acknowledge this, we don't want to, put this out there because it was bad and we just want to remove it from history. It's like, oh my gosh, throughout history, it's like you look at all of the bad things that have happened. It's not just in our country, but throughout
whole history of
and I thought, is there a time? And wasn't there a movie? There was a movie. Oh, with Jeff Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges, and I watched it not too long ago, but where he was like, there was a society, and they lived on like this mountaintop or something, and there was they only stayed in this one area, but there was they removed everything bad from their society, so it was only good stuff. But they had one person that was like the keeper of memories.
Yeah.
He was the keeper of memories, and he had
Storyteller.
Yeah, he had all these memories. I don't know if it was released in theaters or if it was just.
We saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it. Yeah,
Storyteller?
he showed it. I saw it.
Yeah, but that's basically in that movie.
It's a YA.
Yeah, that's what they did, was remove all the where they kept it where he had access to it, and there were other people that were chosen that were given access to these memories, and the one person they chose, he defied that society, and he left and went out and saw that there were other things out there, but it was a case where all the memories of war and just everything that was bad that was done was wiped like away or wiped out of this society. It was strange. It was
talking Sandra Bullock, in Lost City, but Demolition Man was one of her first films with and it was in the future where the police and everything, they'd never even heard of a murder. There hadn't been a murder in like 140 years. But the way society shifted then was, they had verbal citations. If you use a swear word,
yeah.
you were fined for it. You got a ticket, or illegal parking became this like serious crime. Basically the whole society just shifted its the violent crime was eliminated, so what we would consider a minor crime now became more of a major crime then. So it was
Interesting. But in this movie, with this, I don't know, Storyteller or whatever, it carried over into like love and everything else, like all the different emotions, because they all kind of play into that, and those are kind of motivators to do those things.
Yeah,
what causes you to murder? Oh, love or this. So
emotions were
emotions were
really
stifled,
stifled,
completely stifled, and to where the interaction between people, it was robotic. It was like they were just robots.
In Demolition Man, people didn't have sex anymore.
Yeah,
they had a little helmet they put on, and it kind of was like a mental link. There was no physical contact.
So with this one, it was baby. So what kind of in the Storyteller, the thing was baby. So babies were born, and they were just monitored and everything. And if there was like a slight defect or there was something wrong, they'd throw them away. They would just throw them away and be like, okay, we're done. So this one became like attached, and he like got something for the baby. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. There's no attachment. It's just very like clinical and robotic, because the emotions, remove emotions, and fear, love, hate, all of it, then you solve all the problems. But it's like, wow, what kind of life is that? It kind of, you have to take the good with the bad. It's the balance.
Yeah, those are some philosophical questions going on there.
Yeah.
Some pretty deep, some pretty deep stuff there.
Yeah, but it was interesting. The movie, it was pretty wild.
Yeah. It was based on a young adult book, as I recall.
The Storyteller, huh?
No, I don't think that was it. But something along those lines.
Jeff.
Yeah, look up Jeff Bridges. It's about 5 or 6 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah. It's interesting movie. Crazy Heart, love that movie. He did. Crazy.
Oh
Heart,
my
so
God, that was good. But another movie about the alcohol abuse and how it'll screw you up.
Like
He did Crazy Heart and then True Grit, didn't he?
Yep.
Back to back.
Back to back nominations. Yep, deserved in both cases.
Didn't he win for Crazy Heart?
I think he did.
So it was The Giver.
The Giver. Okay.
The Giver, because he gave, but tomato meter 35%. Critics didn't like that one. 55 audience score, so not a
Well, that's a pretty big gap though between audience and the snooty critics.
Yeah. So here it is. Jonas lives a seemingly idyllic world of conformity and contentment when he begins to spend time with the giver, Jeff Bridges, an old man who is the sole keeper of the community's memories. Jonas discovers the dangerous truths of his community's secret past. Armed with the power of knowledge, Jonas realizes that he must escape from their world to protect himself and those he loves, a challenge no one has ever completed successfully. So,
Done.
yeah.
Does that tell you how they did?
Awful.
No, Meryl Streep was in it. She was the ruler, chief elder, Meryl Streep. Yeah, Katie Holmes. Taylor Swift was in it too.
Oh,
Taylor
I didn't
Swift
remember that.
was Jeff Bridges' daughter, who kind of was chosen to be the next giver, but she couldn't handle it, and they ended up, I think, whacking her or something. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
So Hollywood kicks those out every once in a while. Some pretty heavy, philosophical type. What was that one with where there were no kids? A baby hadn't been born in 10 years or something. Children of the Lesser God.
Children of Man.
Children of Men. Yeah.
Children of Men. Yeah.
Clive Owen, right?
Yep.
Clive Owen.
Yeah, Clive Owen.
Yeah, where the baby hadn't been born in 10 years and everyone just kind of.
Jeez.
Everything, society just kind of fell apart and everything. We didn't have that hope for the future, and everyone just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, and that one, oh my gosh. I need to see. I don't think I've seen this. 92% on Tomato Meter, and 85 audience score. So wow.
Yeah, it was a real.
Wow.
That was a pretty heavy film too.
Yeah. Michael Caine was in it.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, if you haven't seen that one, that's a
infertility threatens mankind with extinction.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of said, well, no babies, so.
So what? What's the point?
Yeah, why go to work? Why do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why bother?
Why bother?
Julia.
Think about it a little bit. Is that our motivation for?
Oh, absolutely.
That's.
Think about it.
Well, it's not something you normally think about.
It's not something you think about, but it's
If you-
definitely underlying, and that's
Yeah, if you do think about it.
Yeah. Huh. And Michael Caine in that movie too, and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yep. That's easy for you to say.
I did. Yeah. No, I didn't say it right. I know.
He's Academy Award winner too, right?
I think so.
For
I think the movie wasn't that nominated for Best Picture also?
oh, I don't remember that. Don't know.
Yeah.
I think it might have been.
I like Clive Owen. I wish he would have had a more spectacular career. I think he deserved a
haven't
good
seen him
career.
for a while, huh?
Yeah. And he did some crazy stuff too. Did you ever see Shoot 'Em Up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness.
Oh, shoot, it was awesome. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was awesome or not. It was kind of that Guy Ritchie type.
Yeah.
I don't know if it quite.
Mm.
Smoking Aces was better.
Oh well, yes.
It was, Smoking Aces was awesome.
Yeah, I need to see this. Some of the reviews. If you're a fan of filmmaking and world-building sci-fi, Children of the Men is a must-see for the production values, reminiscent of Brazil in that respect. It looks like a lot of work went into the sets, and there are so many extras. It's quite spectacular. It's a spectacular cinematic experience. Wow. Yeah.
And not surprisingly, they have a hard time keeping order, because as Craig said, so many people just say, well, they shrug their shoulders and say, well, what's the point in the exercise? Why should I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And that tends to lead to unsavory behavior, which needs to be regulated.
Interesting. I need to see that, and it's on Netflix.
Sure it is.
Well, no, sure it is not.
No, I mean everything's on Netflix.
No, there's not everything. There's more crap than good stuff.
Well, there is that, especially I've noticed that
They rotate the stuff in and out.
the content that is made specifically for the streaming services is pretty substandard of stuff that I've seen.
Yeah. And they're doing, and I think I said that last time, where they're changing things up, like Hulu. Some movies you have to have live
Oh.
to be able to watch.
Then
so,
you have to pay. You have
yep,
to pay.
So you have to pay
pay
the
more
higher
to get
monthly
to get Hulu Extra or whatever it is.
Hulu Live. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're gonna kill themselves.
I
I think it's gonna go back to you know what, it's easier to just go watch it in the theater than mess
And more
with,
fun, too.
Than mess with this.
7 services.
Exactly, that you gotta have, because yeah, you can't just have Netflix, you gotta have
yeah.
Netflix and Hulu and
No,
Disney and
Eventually, it'll go to Wally, Craig. I'm sorry, but I don't have. I don't know if maybe there's a maybe there's a cinema period in that transition, but eventually, I mean, we're going to be more Wally-like than we are like we were 10, 20 years ago. It's
well,
just,
they got those VR headsets now.
Oh, yeah.
and maybe that'll be how you watch a movie. You just put a helmet on it and
what's that?
big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was that movie where like the kid? What was it? Where he goes into his room and I forget the movie, and he has like displays and he's doing stuff, and a friend calls in, and hey, what are you doing? And this, you know what I'm talking
Ready
about?
Player One.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Right there. So why do you? I mean, go anywhere? It's like, oh, right here. Here it is. It's all right here.
Well, yeah. Well, you get that where people are actually making money, and then they're like their job was
That's their job.
in the video game.
Yeah.
So you're.
Or the strange
that's
one.
some scary stuff.
This-
that really.
The strange one where the guy was set up. I think it was Gerard Butler.
Oh,
Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
And his wife is like having to like do stuff, and she plays these roles and everything, but she's controlled, and that's what they do. They have these implants and they're controlled. But yeah, but that one, what is that movie? And that one was pretty like wild,
I missed that one.
What was that called?
I like Gerald Butler too.
Yeah. He was. Yeah. I'll tell you, that was a good one.
I guess that is a potential future.
Yeah.
For mankind, that we just drift into a virtual reality.
Well,
But again, that'll lead to no babies, and things will wind down.
Yeah, I guess the two routes that you see are the two. It's like where there's more technology, or like apocalyptic, where like technology's gone. It's kind of like that's where the extremes. But I don't see what that was. But that was a good movie. That was and that wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it wasn't. No,
This century.
Yeah. Well, it's getting easier to say that. Almost
Maybe-
a quarter of the way through.
Maybe it wasn't Gerard Butler. Maybe it was.
No, it was Gerard Butler.
It was.
I'm pretty sure it was Gerard Butler. Yeah.
Gerard Butler movie.
Well, we'll have to pick that up again
It
next
wasn't
week.
Greenland, right? Sci-fi.
No, it wasn't Greenland.
Future World? No.
You played a really good vampire.
It wasn't.
Really? Boy, I missed a lot of movies, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
our time is up, gentlemen.
There
It's
we go.
it's after
Yeah.
11 already. We'll have to pick that up again next week.